Welcome back, everyone, to Singapore Property Talk Law. Today, we're diving into something, well, pretty important for anyone who drives here. The upcoming changes to speeding penalties in Singapore.
That's right. These are set to kick in on January 1st, 2026. So not immediate, but definitely something to get familiar with now.
Exactly. And if you find this useful, please do give us a like, maybe subscribe, so you won't miss our future deep dives. So I guess the first question is, why now? Why these changes?
Well, the context is quite serious, actually. There's been a concerning rise in traffic accidents and fatalities linked to speeding.
Yeah, I saw the figures. 2024 was apparently a 5-year high for casualties.
It was, and get this, speeding was a factor in 1 out of every 3 fatal crashes. 1 in 3.
That's staggering. And didn't the number of speeding violations also jump?
It doubled in 2024 compared to 2023. So the authorities are clearly seeing a trend they need to address.
Okay, so that sets the stage. Let's get into the actual changes then. What's happening?
Fundamentally, it's about making the consequences tougher. We're seeing increases in both demerit points and fines.
Right. Let's tackle the points first. They're going up.
Yes, you'll get between 2 and 6 more demerit points than before for a speeding offense.
Okay, so like for a minor one, say just creeping over the limit, maybe up to 20 kilometer over.
For that bracket, not more than 20 over, it increases from 4 points currently to 6 points.
6 points. That might not sound huge on its own, but...
But it adds up faster, doesn't it? Especially considering the suspension threshold.
Which is still 24 points within 24 months, right?
Yeah.
That hasn't changed.
Correct. That threshold remains. But getting 6 points instead of 4 means you reach that 24-point limit much quicker, even for what might seem like less serious speeding.
Okay, I see. It definitely tightens the leash. What about more serious speeding?
Well, that's where the penalties really ramp up. If you're caught doing, say, 41 to 50 kilometers per hour over the limit, the points jump from 12 to 18. That's a big leap.
18 points, wow.
And crucially, offenders in that bracket will now also be charged in court. It's not just points and a fine anymore.
Charged in court. Okay, that's a major escalation. It sends a pretty strong message about high speeds.
Absolutely. It targets that really dangerous behavior, the kind that significantly increases risk on the roads. The court appearance adds a whole different level of consequence.
Got it. So, more points, potential court dates for higher speeds. What about the immediate hit to the wallet? The fines.
Those are going up too. The composition fines will increase by somewhere between $50 and $150.
$50 to $150 more. And I assume the exact amount depends on.
Yeah, it'll depend on how much you were speeding by and also the type of vehicle involved. The specific tiers weren't detailed in the announcement we saw, but the range is $50 to $150 higher.
So across the board, speeding will cost you more upfront on top of the higher points.
Exactly. It's that combination, the immediate financial pain plus the longer-term risk to your license from the points that they hope will be a stronger deterrent. Hits you both ways.
It makes sense when you put it like that. Now, going back to the why, the Ministry of Home Affairs, the MHA, they've been quite explicit this is about safety, haven't they?
Very much so. They directly linked these enhanced penalties to the need to improve road safety. And they pointed to those traffic police stats released in February 2025.
The ones showing the 5-year high in fatalities and injuries for 2024.
Precisely. Those numbers really underscore the problem. And remember the specific link to speeding.
1 in 3 fatal crashes.
1 in 3. That's a statistic that you just can't ignore. It clearly shows where a major part of the danger lies.
And wasn't there also a sharp increase specifically in speeding-related fatal accidents?
Yes, a very sharp increase. From 32 such cases in 2023 up to 46 cases in 2024.
46. That's a jump of what, nearly 44%?
That's right, 43.8%. That kind of spike really demands attention. It's not just random fluctuation.
No, it suggests a worsening problem. So the tougher penalties are a direct response to these alarming trends.
It seems clear that's the case. The data paints a stark picture, and this is the chosen response to try and reverse that trend.
The MHA also had that quote, didn't they? Something about shared responsibility.
They did. They said, road safety is ultimately a shared responsibility and urged drivers to stick to the limits.
Which is true, isn't it? Penalties can only do so much. It also comes down to driver behavior.
Exactly. The rules and penalties provide the framework and the deterrent, but true safety comes from everyone making conscious choices to drive responsibly. It's about culture change, too.
We've actually seen some real-world examples in the news recently that kind of highlight the potential consequences, haven't we?
There have been a few cases, yeah.
Like that one back in March 2024 involving an ISD officer.
Ah, yes, I remember that.
Yeah.
Fined quite heavily, wasn't it? And a driving ban, too.
Yeah, $7,000 fine and disqualified for 1.5 years. And crucially, it wasn't just speeding, it was speeding that caused injury.
And that really brings it home, doesn't it? It's not just an abstract rule violation. Speeding can lead to tangible harm, serious injuries. The penalties reflect that severity.
And then there was that other case, July 2024. A 60-year-old man.
Right, the one involving both speeding and running a red light. He got a fine and a 15-month disqualification.
But the interesting thing there apparently was how it got to court.
Yes, that was the first instance where a speeding offense captured purely by a speed enforcement camera led to a court trial for the speeding itself.
So not just an automated fine, but prosecution based on the camera evidence.
Exactly. Which could signal perhaps a more robust approach to using technology for enforcement and subsequent legal action, even for speeding alone moving forward. It sets a precedent.
Okay, so putting it all together, the clear message seems to be expect significantly tougher consequences for speeding in Singapore from January 1st, 2026.
That's the takeaway. Higher points, higher fines, and for more serious offenses, the prospect of court charges. It's a comprehensive tightening of the rules.
So it's really vital for all motorists, all of us,
Okay.
to understand these changes and, well, adjust how we drive if needed.
Definitely. Awareness is key.
Yeah.
And it really does make you wonder, doesn't it?
Word or what?
Just thinking about the longer term. How will these stricter penalties actually influence driving behavior and road safety here in Singapore? Will we see that sustained drop in speeding and accidents everyone hopes for? It's certainly something to watch.